Congratulations to the top three finishers of the 2019 Spanish Grand Prix. Finishing in third place, Max Verstappen. In second, Valtteri Bottas. And our winner, taking the 76th win of his career and his third of 2019, Lewis Hamilton. Congratulations, Lewis. Another wonderful race from you. Job done at the start. You didn't seem to suffer from being on the dirty side of the racetrack.
No, it's. I'd looked at the support races, and it appeared that both sides were quite equal. So, yeah, I mean, when the lights went out, the initial start I think was good, and then after that we were quite close all the way down to turn one, and I think the Ferrari may be even alongside us again. So it was a great battle, and naturally a decisive moment. This is such a great circuit, but it's very, very hard to follow once you get through turn one. So not really sure if they'll ever make amendments to make it a race where we will be closer. But nonetheless, once I got around turn one, I just had to keep my head down and focus on trying to just deliver each lap. But just as incredible day for the team. Who we brought an upgrade here. Obviously, everyone worked so hard to make sure they brought a decent upgrade, something that delivered on every aspect. And yeah, very, very proud of everyone back at the factory and thankful for all their hard work. And the guys here at the team at the track, I mean, they're just always faultless. So it's but still a huge thank you to them for their continued efforts. And yeah, I mean, it's also we've got Dr. Zecher here. It's Zecher, not Zeech. They said on the podium twice. So, and he's been a massive supporter of mine since I was 13. Ultimately, he was there in the decision-making process of whether they'll take me on as a kid. When I went to McLaren, he was a part of the decision-making process of whether I got the Formula 1 drive in 2007, and then joined this team again. So, and every year on from then when we had to re-sign. So this is his last race with us, and I just want to say a big thank you to him.
And Lewis, you seem much happier with your car today than you were yesterday.
Yeah, the balance. Yesterday was a bit of a nightmare, but race pace has generally been quite good for me. I've been really happy and comfortable generally in the races. When we went out to do the laps of the grid, I wasn't very happy with the balance still, and so I had to make some changes. Had to alter my driving style a little bit, but it works well in the race scenario. Going to look into detail why it doesn't work on a single lap. And that may take some time. I mean, normally with tyres, I'm pretty good, but I think that's the weak area. And it's not that I can't do it. I just got to discover it, and that's what I put some effort towards.
Okay, well, good luck with that. Well done, Lewis. Valtteri, coming on to you. It was won and lost at the start. You've spoken already about problems with your clutch. Was there any warning or any problem on the formation lap?
No, absolutely no. It was the first time I felt anything like that, like a vibration in the clutch, and that's why the initial getaway was really poor. So it was kind of biting and releasing in a very quick frequency. So it's really annoying. All the hard work this weekend kind of for me went down to that. But obviously I'm not blaming any individual in the team, and as we are a strong team, we are gonna investigate why that happened, how we can avoid it ever happen again in the future. So that's the strength of the team. But it's obviously for me as a person, it is annoying to have it this way. But that's how it goes. But I also wanna say there could be worse days in the office, and as a team we're performing on incredible level, and also from my side, hats off to every single team member at the both factories and here at the race team to be performing like we are now, and also congrats to Lewis for the win. He had a good race pace and a good result for us.
Now, it wasn't your day today, but the slow corner performance of the W10 has been so impressive here in Barcelona. Does that give you a lot of confidence going into Monaco in a couple of weeks' time?
It is nice to see the strengths we have, and especially with the new bits in the car we had for this weekend. But Monaco is such a unique track. There's a big part of it is getting the tires to work, and it's extremely difficult as there's a lot of new parts with completely new asphalt. It's a difficult track to put a lot of energy through the tires, and it's a special track in terms of mechanical setup. There's a lot of bumps and warps and off cambers in the track. So for me, it's completely unknown how we're going to perform there. But obviously, I hope very well, because I've been living there 5 years now, and I live just next to the start-finish line. So it would be nice to have a good car there.
Okay, well done today, Valtteri. And coming on to you, Max, second podium of the year. How confident were you of finishing on the podium today?
Well, I mean, you're never sure, but I knew that we could take the fight to Ferrari. Even in qualifying, we were already very close. So I think my race was also a bit decided in lap 1 to overtake Seb around the outside in turn 3. So yeah, that was good. And from there onwards, I could just do my own pace. And I was trying to follow the Mercedes cars, but they were clearly a bit too quick. And yeah, of course, very happy to be on the podium. Also back in third in the championship. So yeah, that's pretty positive.
As you say, we've seen some tremendous pace from Mercedes this weekend. What can you tell us about the progress being made by Red Bull?
Well, it's good, but not as good as Mercedes did. So we clearly need to still work harder and bring better things to the car. But it's good to see that I think, closed the gap to Ferrari. So I'm happy about that.
Okay, well done to all three of you. Let's open this to the floor now. And as ever, please remember to give your name and publication. First question.
Scott Mitchell from Autosport. Max, the performance here and also in Baku as well, I think you and Pierre both had very good race pace. Two things for you. Do you think that Ferrari is now vulnerable to you guys on most tracks, and going to Monaco, where Red Bull's obviously usually strong, do you think you're going to be quick enough there to catch these guys?
Yeah, race pace in Baku I think was pretty strong, but then of course here people come with upgrades, and clearly we lost out a bit to Mercedes, but it seems like we did catch up maybe a bit to Ferrari. And yeah, for Monaco, I think at the moment, looking at the low speed performance in the last sector, we are clearly not the favorite, and I also don't expect it to be like last year where we were super strong in Monaco.
Thank you. Next one, please.
This is Livio Ricco, Globesport.com. To Luis, do you think you won the race at the start? And Valtteri, do you think you lost the race at the start?
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, you watched the race, right? I mean, you watched the race, so I mean, I suppose so. I wouldn't say it was lost anywhere else or won anywhere else particularly, but I mean, I had good pace today. Obviously, I had a 12-second gap, I think it was at one point, so I had natural pace today. But I think overtaking would have been, even if Valtteri was behind me, he would have struggled to have overtaken me, and and vice versa. So the start was the key.
Valtteri?
Yeah, obviously there is 66 laps in the race, and we need to focus on every single corner. And with the cars nowadays pushing to the limit, it is easy to make a mistake, and so we have to focus. So it's definitely never lost or won in the first corner. There will be always opportunities, possibly, and you have to believe in it. Today there wasn't really. Lewis was faultless after the start. There was a safety car. There was no opportunity for me. So when you look at it back, yes, I lost it at the start, but you never think that way in the car.
Valtteri, just talk us through the restart after the safety car, because that might have been another opportunity.
Yeah, obviously I tried to get close to Lewis at the restart. I think I was maybe a bit less than 50 meters by turn 1 behind him, so no possibility for overtaking. And then, turn 1 to 3, extremely quick corners, it's impossible to follow that close, so you create a gap. Then I went to charging mode with the engine. I tried to charge my battery, and I tried the quickest lap a couple of laps later. I maybe should have tried it one lap earlier, and I think Lewis got it. So yeah, anyways, that was it.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Phil Duncan, PA. Congratulations, Lewis, on your victory. I think after Baku, you said you were a bit too generous, perhaps, on the first lap. So did that give you extra determination today, going into turn one, that you were going to be, the first man through that corner?
Honestly, I wasn't thinking about the last race. It is a new race. I think today was really just trying to redeem myself from a poor performance yesterday, and just back into a strong battle that we've had for years now, and it was respectful and balanced, as we always are. I think the team has spoken of it, and Valtteri and I have spoken of it. I think we have the best pairing than any team has, especially with the balance that we have in terms of how respectful we are. A lot of drivers don't do that, don't have that respect between themselves. So I think today, obviously, I was well and truly on the inside. So yeah, today I was more just super inspired by this young kid that sent me a message, Harry, and he was kind of my spirit angel today. So
Thank you. Next one, please.
John McAvoy, Daily Mail. Forgive me if you've explained this, Lewis, before, but Harry, what was the background to that and the inspiration that gave you?
well, I mean, I posted it, so I don't know if you've seen it. Okay. You've got to stay up to date with social media, man. Yeah, I just had a really nice message from a young kid who's suffering from an illness, and we had sent him a card and a cap, and I saw that today, and going into before the race, I was chilled, but I was looking for something for inspiration, something to grab onto, and yeah, so I dedicated today's race to him. You know, you try to go out there and do something for someone, but it doesn't always turn out as well as it has, but nonetheless it has. So I hope he's watching, and I hope I'll be sending him a message shortly after this that he'll get, and I think that we're going to try and do something for him, something special for him.
Thank you, Lewis. Next one.
Luke Smith, Crash.net. Lewis, you mentioned the gap that you were able to build up, but that was then wiped away in the safety car period. Were there any concerns or frustration when you saw the safety car come out? And could you talk us through your restart as well, because you built quite a big gap to Valtteri very quickly? Yeah, well, naturally, when you work upon building a nice cushion, a nice buffer, you know, we had that quite long stint to do. I think it was, I can't remember how long it was, how big it was, but it was obviously nice enough. And obviously, after we did the stop, it was still quite good. And then I'd realised that we're going to a 2-stop rather than a 1-stop, and which meant you could then utilise the tyres, and then the safety car came out. And naturally, you prefer a VSC, but safety car came out. I mean, it was pretty drastic how slow the safety car was going, so it was hard for all of us, I would say, to keep the temperature in the tyres. But yeah, you just stay cool and focus on the restart. It's pretty straightforward here, generally, the restart, so there wasn't an issue. And yeah, I mean, I think after 1 or 2 laps I was already up at 5 seconds, and then I backed off to cool the tyres down a little bit, then to give myself an opportunity to fight for the fastest lap. And I still had time left, but luckily I was grateful that I had the fastest lap at the time and didn't need to push again. The team told me to turn the engine down and that both cars would do it, so that was good after that.
Next one.
Giles Richards, The Guardian. Congratulations, Lewis. Yesterday, Toto mentioned that you and he had discussed you were potentially going to Ferrari at some point in your career. After the start you've had to this season and the start Mercedes have had, Is there any reason? Do you foresee ever leaving Mercedes, given how strong they are now and how dominant they are over Ferrari?
I don't really remember what he's referring to, so...
So you discussed it during your contract negotiations?
Don't remember that, but... I think when you're in negotiations, you always have to drop in the Ferrari name.
You come out better.
Come out better. So, no, naturally in negotiations, and Toto's a very intelligent man, so we have great negotiations, great conversations, and naturally I've been with Mercedes since I was 13, so it's very hard to see myself anywhere else. And I've never made it secret that I've been a Ferrari fan in terms of particularly Ferrari cars, and that's no secret. Do I plan on going elsewhere? I haven't made any plans for my future. At the moment, I'm just enjoying driving with this team. I'm enjoying continuously growing with this team, and I mean, it's incredible what we're achieving together, what we have achieved in these 6 years or 7 years or whatever it is. And I plan on making this team, or I plan on working with this team to help it become the most successful team of all time. And that's my current goal and my sole focus.
Thank you. Next one.
Heikki Kulta, Turun Sanomat. Valtteri, you have now 35 podiums, as many as Juan Manuel Fangio. How does that feel?
Not much feelings, honestly, from that. It's 35, hopefully 36 next weekend, and well, in 2 weeks, and one more win.
Heikki, I have a question for you. You say, at the beginning you say your name and then you say the paper you write for, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly the you say it exactly the same every time. I mean, if you recorded that, if you go back, you tone perfect every single time. Can you put it a pitch up? Is that how Finnish? You have to say it in a low tone, or
No, it's flat tone.
flat? What if you put it like? Can you say it high?
I try.
next time.
With a smile, maybe, or?
Okay, next one, please.
Question to old driver Joe van Buurik, Racing News 365. On which tracks coming up this season do you expect Red Bull to be strong?
Let's start with Max.
Monaco, Singapore, Mexico. Yep.
Any more?
I don't know. It should be normally a little bit better for us.
Max, just before we put that question to Lewis and Valtteri, what are the strengths of your car, do you feel?
Compared to other cars, or
What do you feel are the strengths? What are the good characteristics?
well, I think at the moment we're not really better in any corner than Mercedes. So I don't know. It's good. I mean, it's not that it's a bad car, but at the moment Mercedes is just a bit quicker than us everywhere. Medium speed, high speed is pretty similar, I would say. But again, that depends a lot on downforce levels as well. You're running every single weekend, so it's a bit difficult to say. But clearly on this track, they were very strong in the low speed corners. And that is normally pretty good for Monaco as well.
Lewis, when do you expect him to challenge you for a victory?
Honestly, I don't know. I think this year they made a big leap with Honda doing a great. It's Honda, right? They're doing a great job with the engine. If you look at their laps, their speeds on the straights are much closer to ours, if not sometimes a little bit quicker than ours at the end. So it's probably the first year that their focus has to be on the car. It's quite interesting in Formula One where engineers are so intelligent, but they often stay with one philosophy and never want to shift the way they design a car, even when others have shown a different direction works. So But I mean, this is I'm sure the car's going to continue to improve, as he mentioned, places like Monaco. They're always quick in Monaco. They're always quick on those the street circuits, particularly. And the races he mentioned, I'm sure is going to be very strong. Let's hope that there's more, that they're closer, because we welcome more battles throughout the year, and it would be great to have a Ferrari and a Red Bull there fighting with us in a natural race.
Anything to add, Valtteri?
Nope.
Okay, next one, please.
Sergio Rodriguez for FormulaRapida.net. A question for Luis. Firstly, congratulations for your win. In the moment that the safety car came to the track, we have seen, in general, of the drivers, you had problems to keep the tires on temperature. Now we are heading to Monaco. Do you think the new period of this year are getting difficult to get it on the window process to work properly? Do you think Monaco will be challenging for the temperature of the tires?
Something I haven't thought of, but I mean, the tire is very hard this year. It's harder than it was last year. It's probably a smaller working window, so I do anticipate it's probably going to be. I think it was already hard last year to get the temperature in the tires. I think something Red Bull were really good at last year, so that would probably be the same this year going to Monaco. Be really interesting to see. I mean, we don't have the hyper this year, I don't think, do we?
I don't think so.
I think it's the super soft. I think we have pretty much, but it's like the super soft but harder again. So, in my opinion, we need to have more pit stops. We need a tire that doesn't overheat. That's a complaint that we've had for many years. And we had a meeting in Brazil last year, and they're like, "We weren't aware of that. Do you remember?" I'm like, "Yeah, we've been saying that for years, literally years and years and years." So that should be the target for. Hopefully for the future, we want a tire that we can really push to the limit and stay up with someone without it over cooking itself and you having to back off, because that enables racing. But Monaco should be interesting, but again, it's not a race where you particularly can follow, or you can't follow that well, and it's not a race that you can particularly overtake in. Particularly with the cars being bigger now, it's even harder. So, but the tire restart would be interesting on safety cars and those kind of things.
Thank you, Luis. Next one.
Luis Vasconcelos from the press. Two questions for Valtteri. Up to lap 15, you sort of within striking distance of Lewis through maximum 3.5 seconds, and then he lost a lot of time over the next 10 laps. Was that some tire issue, or you already accepted that you were not going to get him? And the second, did you have any concerns with your power unit after the oil leak you had on Friday?
Yeah, in the beginning of the stint, I was pretty close to Lewis all the time. Obviously, just waiting if there would be an opportunity. And on this type of track, we only need to be within 4 seconds, and you're sliding quite a bit around. So I've been ahead, and I know the difference, how much it makes when you can really focus on saving the tires where you want to, and in the free air is quite a bit better. So why the gap became bigger, I had to go through some of the slower cars, and at the same time my tires started to drop off, and with less surface on the tire, I lost a bit of temperature, and so yeah, my tires were finished much earlier than Lewis's. That's why the gap became better. So probably I was sliding the car a bit more during the first stint, so he made a gap there. And from my side, team side, there was no concerns after the oil leak. It was nothing to do with engine itself. It was just a simple thing like a pipe and one bolt came loose or something like this. So no concerns.
Thank you, Valtteri. Next one.
Gunnar Rest, Delphi News Estonia. Question to Max. There were 3 Red Bull juniors driving this weekend in Formula 3. Did you get the chance to see the races, and what are your impressions of the guys?
Yeah, I did see a bit of the racing, yeah. It was pretty good, but can be better. But I mean, they just start, so I think Helmut will have a call with them anyway after every race weekend. So yeah, they will work hard for it. It's good.
Thank you. Next one.
Arjan Schouten, AD Sportwereld. Question for Max, some more about the race. What was key in the first part, in the first corner? Stay out of chaos and profit in the corners after that. And what were your thoughts about the safety car?
Yeah, well, I mean they were going 3 wide into the corner, so and I don't think 4 cars fit. And yeah, it was just taking it a bit easy. And at the end, it was good because I was in the right position for turn 3. So that definitely gave me a better opportunity, of course, to be on the podium. And with the safety car, I think it was right to call out the safety car because there was quite a lot of stones on the track and 2 cars. So, but I think we could have raced 1 or 2 laps earlier. So that would have helped with tyre times as well.
Thank you, Max. We've got time for one more question.
Pilar from the Paddock Magazine. My question is for Lewis and Valtteri. Lewis, you have mentioned that it's good to have Red Bull also in the fight, but it is such a relief for you not to have Ferrari that behind you, somehow breathing down your necks. So how did that make you guys feel a little bit more relaxed in thinking about the championship, of course?
Honestly, it doesn't. You know, we're still very, very much focused on trying to make sure we deliver each weekend because we don't come to the race knowing that we're going to have a gap like today, and also we're aware of, you know, we only have the short amount of engines through the year. Reliability could be an issue. You have anything could happen at any point, so you're super focused on trying to make sure you deliver. My personal feeling is I prefer when they are in the mix with us. I've preferred the races where, for example, Bahrain, they were on the front row. I love that. That's especially when we're kind of intertwined, where there's a Ferrari, a Mercedes, or a Mercedes Ferrari, for example. For the last couple of years, that's what we've had, and I think from a driver's point of view and for a team's point of view, it's much better when you're competing with another team. When it becomes more internal, it's less exciting, I would say, but it's still massively challenging for the drivers. We still have to deliver. It's not a case of just rocking up and just going out. We still have to work very, very, very hard to extract everything from the car, just as every other driver is extracting everything from their car.
Anything to add, Valtteri? Okay, well done, gentlemen. And a full transcript of this press conference will be available shortly at FIA.com.